My name is Brother Bernard LoCoco. I'm a De La Salle Christian brother, and I came to SAT in 2000, year 2000, and was here for 10 years as president of SAT. And the reason the title was president is that at that time, SAT, through the auspices of GTU, was able to grant master's degrees. So there was an academic portion to the program. So I've been asked to reflect on what I thought the SAT mission was during my time here. And it might be helpful to review some of the history, my history, as well as SAT's history. But to answer the question, the mission of SAT was personal renewal. And that would be different than when the program was founded in 1960, when it was, the purpose of the program was to prepare men at that time to move into parish ministry and to assist. The mission of personal renewal. What we discovered in previous experiences was that there were three aspects to mission that highlighted the particular character of SAT. One was that people would come, that they would have time for a sabbatical. This was really important, to really enjoy the Sabbath. So that meant leisure time. That also meant time to see the area, to go to the symphony, to go to the YMCA, to be quiet, to make friends, to see the area. The second part was updating. Many of the people who came had not been back to school or coursework or workshops for quite a bit of time, and they were looking for input. The third aspect was personal spirituality. So the three of these elements were the foundation of the SAT, but what made it unique was how to integrate these three aspects. If you came just for leisure, it'd be more like a vacation. If you came just for updating, it would be like taking classes. If you came just for the spiritual part, it'd be like a retreat. So the challenge was, how do we integrate these three so that there would be a transformation? And so we looked at each aspect. And one of the things we discovered was that most of the participants felt we had too many classes. And part of that was that in offering a master's degree for those who wanted it, the Graduate Theological Union required so many hours of class every week. Now, of the 35 or 40 participants, or 45, only 2 or 3 were working for a master's degree. So the whole program was geared to those 2 or 3, while the others felt there were too many classes. So we needed to look at, should we continue to offer a master's degree? And after lots of study and reflection and inquiries, we decided to phase out the master's degree. So that gave us the permission to open up the program. So immediately, we dropped classes on Wednesday afternoon, and we opened up Friday. So people could take long weekends. They found that 10 hours of class a week was plenty. We're talking about people who are in their 50s, 60s, to even early 70s, and 10 hours of input was quite a bit. One of the aspects that I wanted to also mention was that an important ingredient in the experience was the sense of community. We did not formally emphasize this, but people having the same goals and similar backgrounds and experiences, community was formed. And so when they took trips together or had parties or went to the symphony, there was a sense of unity, particularly the area of liturgy and prayer, whether it was centering prayer or the liturgy of the Mass. So that was another important ingredient for this integration. I also like to just mention, when I was being interviewed by the board for this position, I remember the Jesuit priest said to me, "What is it that you would bring to this program?" And I remember so clearly, it didn't take long, and I said two things. One is experience, because I had been running a program for 12 years, but the other was passion. I really believe so strongly in this ministry because it influences people who are going to travel back throughout the world and minister to hundreds, if not thousands. So I have a real passion for this renewal work. Underlying the work of the core team at this time was very, very important. We believed strongly in forming a faith community. So we would have prayer, we'd have desert days together, we'd have social time together. And that was Sister Maureen Therese, who had been here for many, many years. She had made the program. Sister Kathleen Gannon, she in charge of the spirituality of the program. Myself, and then as an adjunct, Aileen Hellesy, who was the secretary. In addition to the core, we had, when I came, a need to renovate or remodel or revise the board. It had been somewhat informal, mostly men, and there was not a very strong structure. I remember at the first board meeting, I suggested that we have terms, and people were very grateful because they had been on the board for years and years. So in my vision of a board, I wanted people with expertise, not on sabbatical expertise. The core had that, but I wanted someone who could help in finances, someone who could help in investments, a legal mind, marketing. So we were looking for people who would bring to the board not only their expertise, but willing to give some financial support. So the first person, since I was new to the area, I recruited was Brother Mel, who had been president of St. Mary's College for 28 years. And he knew everyone, and everyone knew him. So when I needed a lawyer on the board, I went to Brother Mel. If I needed someone for finances, I went to Brother Mel. So shortly, we had a very strong board, including Sister Rosemary Kenichi, who was a teacher at GTU, a theologian, or really counseling was her area. We had Sister Mary Grove, who was a judge. So we had people from GTU as well as people from the business world. And they really formed a foundation. How did the renewal manifest itself, this transformation, in graduates? A couple of ways. One is we always have someone from the staff go to LCWR and CMSM. And so many graduates had moved into leadership positions, and they would talk about their experience and how they lived out their experience, but also that they would send members from their community. In addition, we had people come back. If they made one semester, they'd come back for a second semester. We even had someone come back a third time. But I'll give you two examples. There was a priest who was a superior general of a congregation. He was in Rome, and his term was for 10 years. And he knew that he could not do the 10 years. After about 5 years, he knew that he needed time apart. So he came on sabbatical. He wrote a letter to all of his members and said, it's time for me to step down and really look and take care of myself. He came, made the sabbatical, and returned to his community as superior general for the last 5 years. He later wrote an article in Review for Religious talking about the need to take care of yourself, but also publicizing sabbatical programs. The second one that comes to mind is a sister from Scotland who had been working in Africa. And when they came, anyone that came had to have health insurance. And Sister Maureen Therese made sure that if they didn't have health insurance, they could get it through GTU. So this sister was given a health insurance, and Sister Maureen Therese made sure that they got a thorough physical. Well, they discovered that she had advanced stage of cancer. The doctor actually said if without some treatment, she would die quickly. She finished the first semester, went back, was treated for it, and then came back the following year. So not only was she renewed spiritually, but physically. And there are dozens and dozens of cases. Another would be a priest who was really, had actually written letters of resignation. He just could no longer feel he could do ministry. Finally, he was given a sabbatical. So when he came, he had figured this was the end. He would not be going back to ministry. He spent a year with us, and when he returned, he had enough energy, he accepted the position of rector of the seminary. So he was going to influence future priests. It's stories like that that really, I get goosebumps just talking about that. We change lives, but not only for the people who came, but the people who returned to minister to others. The question should come, what happens to the participants when they leave SAT? I've given you a couple examples, but what I found, and I think everyone would say, they leave with new energy. They are people of hope. They are people that want to spread the good news. When a person is in good space, they want to minister to other people. They went back believing that they could make a difference. They went back with confidence. They had some good input. They had done interior work. They were feeling integrated and whole. They wanted to change their lifestyle so that in taking care of themselves, they could be better ministers. And maybe most important, often they returned as wounded healers. If they had come with hurts and needed to be forgiven or forgive other people, when they came out of that, how do they handle meeting with people who had similar hurts? So being a wounded healer made them more compassionate, more of a listener, and they could journey with people more authentically.